this shows the sacredness and the understanding of our ancestors beyond that of science.
It may be about tattooing, but it's about a piece of the whole. It's about the entire planet. It's about the things living on it, including human beings. It's not just about some ink on some skin. It's about lifetimes and generations.
The work that I do in terms of the research that I do, the apprenticeship that I took on, the realization that we had a tattooing tradition. And I also looked into what the revival of Indigenous tattooing was doing for Indigenous cultures and nations other than my own. So one of the things that we struggle with is our identity as Indigenous people. There's been strategic processes that have been put in place to strip us of our identity and our land. When we plant ourselves into our culture and we have roots, it becomes medicine. These things root us and heal us in a certain way.
Mai te puke mana ia ki tāre hu, mihal negi te whēnu atangi ana ki ngā tangata, korohihi po, korohihi au, korongo tūre ki te matahau o tū. Although I'm going to share these things with you, that does not mean that it belongs to you. I believe no one has a right to use my ancestors' patterns unless we come from those ancestors. And so it's an unfortunate message that I have to say, that no one has the right to wear my patterns unless it's been given from our people. And so we respect each other's differences.
And I am a tattooist. I am an Inuit kakinyet practitioner. Our tattoos are called kakinyet. Kakinyet. Adiga. Kakinyet is an ancient form that we've had since time immemorial. It's one of the forms that we as women have been able to carry on for centuries, and has only recently, the last century or so, has been asleep and is now being reawoken by other women across Inuit territory. I have come to learn that our tattooing practices were meant to maintain balance with ourselves, with the relationships with each other, and with the relationship with the earth, because our women are so powerful.
As earth beings, the rock that you're going to, that you pray to, that rock is inside of you. It's your bones. The water that is inside of you is the same water that falls down and flows into the river, that flows to the ocean that we're all connected to. We are that ocean. So the collective consciousness of coming out of this sleep, we are of those same people.
And so our life has been dedicated to bringing back the ceremonies, bringing back the teachings. And every time we bring a little piece that used to be back, it's a win.
The old people told me to get a piece of obsidian, and chink it off, because it's sharper than any knife that can be created by a machine. And then we would slice the skin into that first layers, and then smear a deer bone. You take a deer bone leg, and then crack it. And after you cook it, it's that nice, soft, gelatinous fat in there. And then collect soot, or made from pitch fire from wood on a rock, or the smoke that goes throughout the men's house, that's real fine powder, and mix that together and rub it in that.
We're extinct. That's why my community hasn't come to grips with tattooing yet. They're still horrified because we're Hollywood Indians and it's not who you are, but how you look.
This is part of it, the rejection of Western beauty standards. It's a healing, practice for past, present, and future. Some of my paintings have images of women, well, a lot of them have images of women with their tattoos, whether they have them or not. And I remember the first time my mom saw she saw a painting I did of her, and she said, "Who is that?" And she walked up and she was touching her face. And she said, "Who is that?" Her friend Emma said, "That's you, Lois." And she said, "Oh, I would have had that. I should have. You know, I should have had that. So for her, it was like having that again. It was like, you know, healing the past and the present and the future.
I hadn't talked to anyone about getting a chin tattoo, but they brought Keone out over 15 years ago. And they called and said, do you want a tattoo? And I said, absolutely. And Lauren goes, you didn't talk to me about it first. I said, no. Because when you do this is very personal. You don't give people advice to have it. You don't tell them not to have it. That's their journey. And that's very personal. We each have our own reasons why we did it.
I'm here today to speak a little bit about my journey as a haumana of the Hawaiian tattoo master, Keone Nunes. He taught us through his lineage, through his Suluape lineage. The tradition of the tools comes from Taima and Tila Whainga, the twins from Samoa who retrieved the tools from Fiji or Fiji. In my own life, I've been able to observe that our teacher has done the same thing for us. He went to Samoa, and through his teacher, Sulape, Paulo the Great, he returned the tools to Hawaii. And that sound of the moli and the ha-ha was silent until our teacher returned the tools. And it's a catchy tune, the rhythm of the ha-ha and the moli. And I remember, you know, from that moment I heard it at age 15, we were always fascinated with this man and this practice, you know, that has been long before us.
We have to protect ourselves, yeah. But we also have to acknowledge where we came from, where it came from. But tattooing, the way that we do it now in the Pacific, originated probably in India with the Naga people, and they had that. And it traveled all the way into the Pacific, from Thailand actually, to Taiwan, to the Philippines. That technique survived. This is a Hawaiian traditional tattoo needle. When you see this type of things, what do you think of? You think of an archaic way of doing tattooing. You think of something that happened in the past that no longer exists in the present day. But that's not true. It's not true. We still exist. We still thrive. These tools, traditional Hawaiian tools, were found in a cave. And it's several hundred years old, probably about 500 years old. I could lash it up tomorrow and I could use it and it would be very, very good. With all the technology that we have, we cannot reproduce this tool. And I can guarantee you somebody will tell you it's going to take forever and that it hurts a whole lot. You know what? The majority of the time I tattoo, if people are not talking and laughing while I'm tattooing them, they're sleeping. That's true. In the right hands, these tools are magic. And sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit because we don't believe. The narrative is changing, but we have to control the narrative. We as Native people have to control that narrative. Because if we do not control it, if we don't take it to heart, it will be lost for our children and for the future generations forever. And we are in very dangerous times at this point. So, thank you so much. I really appreciate this.